All right, guys, welcome everyone to this video, kind of a podcast, I guess. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Punk Duck.
Hey, how's it going?
And Gamescom is technically still ongoing, but both of us are home already. We checked out Wilds there, we played, I streamed there as well. And today we want to go over everything that we've seen. How do we like Wilds? What do we think about it? What is kind of our review after playing for, in my case, 4 hours? How long have you played?
I got to play. Oh my god, you got 4 hours? I got to play for. It was literally the time slot they gave us, which was an hour and a half. It was like the first half with the a quest that we're not allowed to show. I know if we're not allowed to talk about it. That was one thing I wanted to ask you as well. I'm sure you got to.
Yeah, you can mention it. We just can't record it.
Okay. Gotcha. And then I got the one that I'm pretty sure that was available on all the public demos, but it was like single player. I wasn't they weren't like available to record it multiplayer.
Yeah.
And that was that.
Yeah. Let me just quickly introduce you. I mean, Punk Duck, you are a big YouTuber. You're featuring several different games on your channel. But you are also a very big Monster Hunter fan, and you've made some insane Monster Hunter videos too with crazy millions of views, bro. Really.
Stop it. I'm blushing. I'm getting very blushy cheeks right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna link your stuff below in the description. So, but yeah, I'm really excited to talk with you about Wilds, about Gamescom, and our impressions. So yeah, let's jump right in. You are a greatsword main, huh?
Yes, correct. You've done your research.
So how was it?
Big time greatsword main, and I initially started with switch axe in world, and then I don't really count the weapons I was playing like in Freedom Unite and Try, which was the other games I played, because back then I had no idea what I was doing. But
same.
with world, I felt because I was like, we were like 12, 13. But with World, fell in love with the greatsword, fell in love with the switch axe, and I saw that in the demo they let you pick two, but I was like, I'm just gonna go greatsword because I feel like if I try to learn both of those weapons' new stuff, I'll feel like super overwhelmed. And I was right. Greatsword felt very. Just greatsword alone, which was simple, just everything felt so overwhelming.
Dude. Like, I feel like a lot of people underestimate the situation that you put yourself in as a creator. You haven't seen that game before. So many things are new. So many it's crazy, and then you have to deliver within a very short time frame. And then everyone's like, oh, he isn't even hitting the monster, or he gets hit all the time. Like, yeah, I am.
No, it's tough. I'm going to be honest. In the footage that I got of the multiplayer / single player quest, I fainted very hard. And boy, did I miss a lot of TCSs, which is crazy because, and I guess this segues into, us talking about focus mode. Because with focus mode, it's actually really hard to miss a TCS. And I was doing that shit constantly.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah.
Well... yeah, let's talk about greatsword for a little bit. So I haven't played it much myself. I just checked out for like 2 minutes to see what the new moves are. I saw that you can now charge this upswing, with circle and triangle. How's that one?
So that one is the greatsword's offset attack, which from the footage that I saw of their weapon overview stuff, I thought it was a parry. Because I straight up pulled up to Jono, the EU community manager, and I told them, oh, by the way, on the bus over here, I did so much homework because I did not want to spend a single minute learning the controls. So I was just I was looking at the website and memorizing all the move lists, and I was like, where's greatsword? Okay, moveset this, and this. Okay. Yeah. And initially I thought an offset attack was a parry, but no, that new move, which is just you hold the upswing, really, which nobody ever does that move historically. That move was super situational. Sometimes you hit it if a tail is too high up, but even then you're probably better off just doing the regular attack. That move now you can hold, and if it hits the monster right when the monster hits you, then you get this crazy knockback animation. You automatically grapple onto the monster and start dashing in for a follow-up attack. Oh, did you not play greatsword at all?
No, I tested out the moveset a bit on the training pole thingy, but I didn't use it in combat. Michi used it though. I went with him, and he recorded some gameplay. So we'll see if we can make a video about greatsword as well.
Right, but the thing is that I thought was going to be a little bit too easy was that I thought the attack worked like a parry, but it doesn't. Because you have to calculate when you release the button, when the hitbox of the attack actually comes out, because you don't like release the button when you're about to get hit. You need to be a lot more preemptive. You got to release it like slightly earlier. So because it's not a parry, it's a clash, you need to make sure the hitbox of the attack hits at the same time that the monster's hitbox is hitting you.
Yeah.
Because if you try to release it with parry-like timing, it's not going to work. And then you don't get the big animation. You just you stand there and you're probably going to get hit.
I mean, with a parry, it works. You have to push the buttons for the parry a little bit before the attack is happening, right? So with a charge blade, for example, to guard point, you have to initiate that block before. And it works the same with that move, I suppose.
But it works the same, but like you have to release it slightly earlier.
Even
than
earlier.
You think. Yeah.
Okay.
So the timing kept like messing with my brain. I kept getting hit because I kept trying to go for it.
Okay.
But what's nice and what was really surprising is that while you're charging that attack, you can just roll out of it. And I thought for a second, like, wait, can you roll out of charge attacks now on the greatsword? Because that'd be super strong. But no, it's just specifically that attack you can roll out of.
Okay. The other ones you can, I guess, tackle out of in a way.
Yeah. And one thing that I also noticed before we move on from the greatsword, and I don't know if you or Michi caught that, because this was insane, dude. Did you notice the changes they did to the tackle?
No.
When you tackle through, I wasn't able to make sure what the metrics on it were, but when you tackle through something, or if you get damage during a tackle, or if you do damage with a tackle, or maybe it's both, I'm not sure, your next charge will already be at level 3.
Oh, okay. So it's way faster now. Basically, you don't have to tackle and then wait.
Yeah.
For the charge.
But the thing is, if you're doing it raw, if you're tackling nothing, then you have to wait.
Okay.
That skip only triggers if you tackled through something.
Okay, yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Probably if you're getting hit. I assume if you're like getting hit during the tackle, so you reduce the damage of the hit that you receive, right? And then you, because it wouldn't make much sense if it also works if you're tackling, like if you're dealing damage with your tackle, because then imagine a monster is just chained down like a paralyzer or something, and you can just tackle quickly and then instantly go on level 3 charge. But I mean, I don't know. We can. I'm gonna have to ask Michi about this, or we check some gameplay. But that's cool. Okay, yeah. Nice. Yeah, everything feels a little bit faster with CB as well. Seems a bit faster. I want to make a video dedicated towards CB. I have some footage, especially also from the stream. The thing is, we have an embargo with Capcom, so we cannot upload as much as we want. We are limited to 20 minutes. And the bummer about this is that not just the stuff we captured, but also the live streams fall under the 20 minutes. So even though the live stream is technically live, it's live on YouTube already. Everyone can watch it, can technically re-upload it. We can only use up to 20 minutes across all videos. So that's why this is going to be just a podcast without gameplay, because right now we have this limitation at the moment. Yeah. But cool. Yeah. How does it overall feel, Greatsword, compared to Monster Hunter World?
Compared to World, I mean, it feels a lot better, but like it also, the way that focus mode combines with it, I feel like is so significant. I mean, to be fair, I didn't get to try I tried Switch Axe for a very small amount of time, so I didn't even get to try focus mode paired with the Switch Axe. But with Greatsword specifically, like you can really make some last minute adjustments to your swings with focus mode. So like, you can charge and then aim and then release, and it'll go exactly where you've aimed it. And to me, that feels like such a giant upgrade,
especially on fast monster. They hop around you, and then you can just change directions.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
And also it just feels like overall a lot less stiff, because and this is something that really impressed me. I'm not sure about every single one, but to me, from what I played, it felt like almost all the hunter animations, not the monsters specifically, but I feel like all the hunter animations got reanimated. Like the jump animation was different, the sheathing animation was different, like every single thing, like even like getting damaged and everything. So I was always like, this weapon feels a lot snappier and faster, but it's because like the hunter just feels more responsive because of how everything's been reanimated, I guess, for like the upgrade to RE Engine.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed smoother somehow, or well connected somehow. The animations, at
Yeah.
least. I'm not sure how much they redid, but yeah, I mean, overall, also performance is something I want to talk about. Like smooth, it did feel smooth. It was. I analyzed the footage. It was definitely the PlayStation. So first of all, we played on PlayStation 5s. Everything, the entire Gamescom, the Gamescom version of Monster Hunter Wilds that was playable there was running on PlayStation 5, and I checked out the footage, and they were running at uncapped FPS, so up to 60, but the game was running at like 30 plus, like a little bit over 30 FPS. So like 35-ish, I would say. So, but that probably means, I mean, the game is going to come out in like 6 months or so. So they're definitely going to change a lot when it comes to optimization and performance. So I am pretty positive that this is going to get better over time, the performance situation. And maybe there's even like a mode where you can say, okay, I'll play at 1080p, and then the game goes towards somewhat 60 FPS. Because if you think about this, right, Monster Hunter World, we played on PS4 Pro in the past before it came out on PC, and World ran in 1080p 45 FPS back then on the PS4 Pro. Yep. And the PS5 has so much more power. It has so much more power, and I think the engine, the re-engine is relatively efficient from what I've heard. So it's not like Unreal Engine 5 or something like that takes like an insane amount of power. So realistically, even if we talk about the whole situation of having a huge open world where everything is connected and you don't spawn from the village into an environment anymore, but everything is one big world, which may take more power, I'm not sure. It should still be possible to play in 1080p 60. It should be. This is what I'm expecting, at least from the game, and I hope they can make it work until release. What's funny, though, actually, because I also analyzed the resolution. And finally, the consoles were set to 4K, and the game was running in 4K, but the gameplay was running in 1080p, and the UI, all of the UI elements on the screen and the map, if you open the map, everything was 4K, like native 4K.
Oh,
so yeah,
really?
Super sharp user interface, but gameplay was a bit more blurry. I think that was around 1080p.
Because that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think the thing is, because they want like footage and screenshots and just overall like for people to see promotional material like a live stream. I think because they want the game to look as good as possible, they probably like have like, because consoles will have frame rate mode and resolution mode. They probably have like, they either have all the builds at Gamescom or at these like shows set to resolution mode to make sure the game looks as good as possible. Or they don't even have like a frame rate mode like figured out yet. Because a good example, I don't know if you played Dragon's Dogma 2.
I started it, but I haven't had time to finish.
Yeah, well, that game, like very similar, made by a very similar team. Also a game by Capcom. Also a game made for the RE Engine. And it was the first game for the RE Engine that was going to be next gen only. Because the last one that came out before it was RE4, and that one was cross-platform. It was PlayStation 4 and PS5, and DD2 being the first one, there was like a lot of like, oh, I wonder how RE Engine's gonna do in like a next-gen or / current-gen only scenario, and that game had like notoriously like poor performance at launch for consoles and PC. But the thing is, it's because that game launched without any sort of performance mode. For consoles, it ran at like uncapped FPS, but it hovered always like 30, mid-20s, and in combat it would dip to like 15. Now, that never happened to me in this like Wilds demo. It never dropped to like 15.
Yeah.
But that game then later was patched with a performance mode, and now it goes up to 120 FPS. So what I'm thinking is that like if we have that example with Dragon's Dogma 2, where it's a very similar in terms of style and mechanics and setting, where it's like also a third-person melee action open world game, I'm pretty sure that like they can probably also sort out a similar sort of like performance mode for Wilds as well. And again, I'm just speculating. I'm not working on the game.
Hopefully.
But like considering that it was probably running at like the what you would call the resolution mode for the conference, then I reckon that like I think we're gonna be okay.
dude, I mean, we're not talking about my experience. I want to play on PC, so we're just talking
Yeah, same.
about everyone who's playing on PlayStation. But oh man, yeah, I mean, there were some glitches happening here and there. Totally fine, totally expected from an early version. The textures were very blurry at times, but overall, it looked very cinematic. I really I like this deserty area. You know what I really loved? I loved the fact that there's destructible environments now. You can. Did you see that?
Yes.
I don't know if you saw, but like when I was playing and hunting a Chatucabra in the desert, it was doing like all sorts of different attacks and the belly drop and whatnot, and it deformed the sand and like it was like a little hole in the sand. That was really cool. Or like this Balahara can do this attack right where the sand sinks, and then there's a huge hole in the ground. That's so cool. I really love that.
Yeah, that's what I had happen to me. I didn't get a chance to play the game as much as you did, but I got to fight, I got to fight like the main three that were available. I didn't get to fight the Apex.
Okay.
Ray Dow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to fight like all three of them though, but yeah, I noticed that like there's a lot more emphasis on the environment being an element, which I think is great from both the gameplay and story perspective, because from what I can tell story-wise that it's like this isn't the New World anymore, it's called the Forbidden Lands. And from everything that I understood, it was that like, oh, this is an environment that actively rejects hunters and people in general. It's like a very hostile environment, and you feel it while you're playing. Like for example, when the storm started happening, I was like, oh, okay, this looks really cool, but like it's set dressing, it's making the hunt look epic, and don't get me wrong, it looks amazing. But at the same time, I was like, all right, like cool set piece. And then I was hunting the Darshiguma. And then at one point, the Darshiguma got hit by lightning for like 115 damage. And I went, wait, the lightning is like in the map? It's an element?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
and I was like completely blown away.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was like actually what was going on. And then I read into it, and apparently like that season where like the everything goes dark and there's a lightning storm happening, it like, I don't know if you heard about this, but it travels along the map in real time. It's not just like a switch and it happens. It goes along the map. So a hunter that's, for example, all the way east will get hit by that season earlier than a hunter that's all the way west of the map. I think that's incredible. I thought it was literally just like a switch and it happens. I think
really
that's
cool.
so cool, man.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to ask you specifically is because I'm coming at it from a perspective of like somebody who just, like, I just play the games, I love the games, but I don't speedrun at all. From the perspective of somebody who speedruns the game and, has a whole channel dedicated around speedrunning, how do you feel about, like, the fact that there's all these elements that can sort of feel random? Like, wouldn't it be, like, annoying, for example, if, like, a run wasn't as good as it could be because like the Dashiguma is never being hit by lightning, for example?
Okay, really good question. I feel like right now is a really good point to kind of clarify something I wanted to talk about for a very long time. So,
okay.
Yeah, before I answer your question, so people really like have always these huge expectations towards me when I'm going to Gamescom, and like checking out stuff. Be like, oh, Chris is probably gonna destroy the monsters, bro. No, I'm not. Like, of course, I've made speedruns like a lot, and I've played the game I played the Monster Hunter series for way too long, honestly. But like these days, especially for the last couple of years, we have still amazing speedrunners in the team. And we've gone like from a time in the past where it was just Michi and I, like a very small team where, yeah, I was at the end of the day the one that had to record almost all of the speedruns in order to even have any videos on the channel, to a time where our team has grown and I'm not doing that many speedruns anymore. I'm like really good at crafting content and like understanding the YouTube algorithm, that kind of stuff. So, speedruns, I'm not even like, I'm a bit more rusty these days. I'm not that good anymore these days. And like, that's why it's like really stressful for me to try not to, to fail too much with these events. That being said, I can't, of course, answer your questions because I have enough experience to be able to answer that question. Like, of course, RNG is always like a huge negative thing for speedrunners. But when it comes to environmental change and stuff like that, I mean, we don't know yet exactly how it works and how the game kind of simulates coincidence. Like, the game doesn't have coincidence. Everything is programmed, right?
Yeah.
And if you understand how that works, for example, in the past, right, you had spawns where you launch a quest and then you spawn somewhere. The monster spawns somewhere. Well, that may seem random to a normal player, but it's actually not random. In Tri-Ultimate, for example, you could lock a spawn. So when you had a certain spawn and you knew it, if you were basically always abandoning the quest, then next time you would go on a quest, you would have the same spawn again. However, if you finish a quest, the spawn changes. And like, there's so many different layers of RNG in different Monster Hunter games, and Capcom has kind of changed different features all the time. And games like, for example, like spawns work so differently in World compared to all of the Monster Hunter games before. But we don't really know yet how weather works exactly, and the Gamescom version that we could play for a little bit definitely isn't enough for us to figure that out, right? So we'll have to really wait and see. But of course, if it's something that we can somehow influence, then speedrunners will obviously try to influence that. So if the lightning and stuff like that deals a lot of damage, and it therefore contributes to getting faster kill times, I think it'll be used a lot. But maybe it makes monsters more aggro, more fast, and so maybe you can't, like, you don't have good openings anymore, right? So we really have to understand the game, and that takes a lot of time.
Yeah, that's something I definitely noticed. I'm not sure I don't know how prevalent this was in Rise or in World, really. I wasn't super sure on like the hidden like monster behaviors, but one thing that I was told specifically by the community manager Jono, who was overlooking like my entire gameplay session, was once I had the Dashaguma week, by the way, within 15 minutes, because I'm just so crazy with the greatsword.
You're a machine, bro.
Yeah, I know, dude. I mean, to be fair, he was like, oh yeah, don't you want to get footage of the village? And I just went, no. And I just left the village. I just went immediately for the Dashaguma. And I like did like a wake up attack at the nest. He told me specifically that when you wake up monsters in their nest and they're like weak, they go into this last stand mode where they even get like they get like more aggressive behaviors. They get new moves and stuff. Yeah, and
Really?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was like in the previous games, but I definitely noticed that suddenly the Dashaguma was being definitely way more aggressive. That was the stage at which I carded. I spent like a good chunk of my quest time was fighting that last 20% HP that the Dashaguma has, because the fight was insane.
Dude, it was complete opposite for me. The thing started super aggressive, and once it went to his nest and it limped, I completely destroyed it. It didn't even move anymore.
Really?
Yeah. I staggered it, KO, bam, 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 SAD, bam, 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 dead. And before I struggled so much, I got slapped around. That's funny. I mean, I didn't notice that, but yeah, well, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, and also to be fair, I might be paraphrasing, or Jono might have been lying to me, but I mean, it definitely felt like it, and that was also like the point at which I got the power clash, which I didn't even know that was in the game. I thought that was just a thing they showed in the trailers. I didn't know that was a thing that you could do, and that was so cool. I'm still not sure how it gets triggered, but
I think if you did, I think with Tsibia I did it when I did a perfect guard in the right moment. If you block in the right moment, maybe with Gerset you blocked, right? So you have to block, like if as if it was a counter, you have to block in the right moment, and then it clashes. And then the only thing I didn't understand is it didn't really seem like it did a lot of damage. So what did it do?
I can answer that question. I think it's weapon dependent, because once I defeated the not defeated, I guess, but once I like won the power clash, like from like mashing triangle and all that, on the top right I saw true charge slash. So beating a power clash with the greatsword gives you an immediate TCS.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I probably
so
failed
it's weapon
that.
dependent.
I probably could have done an SAD or something after that, but I didn't know,
likely.
and I didn't do it because of that. Okay.
I was constantly like, every time I threw out an attack, I was constantly like just peeping the top right to see like, is there something I can do here? Is anything new? No? Okay. And then when I saw the power clash end, and then it did like, I don't even know if it did damage. I think it must have done like 10 or 40 or something. I looked top right, TCS, I went, yo, no way! And then I just boom, because they're super stunned after Power Clash.
It looks so sick though. Like it looks so cinematic, man.
Yes.
It's really cool. Really cool.
Yes, it does.
Dude,
that's the thing. I was so impressed. It was just like, it feels so cinematic. Like it feels like I'm constantly playing a trailer. Do you know what I mean? It feels like I'm constantly playing one of those like scripted gameplay trailers where, you know, they got like a squad going and they're all like talking to each other like, hey, watch my flank and all this. Oh, here's a healing item. But like I was just playing it and going like, how did they do this? And also another thing in the back of my mind, I was like, how is this gonna work in multiplayer? Because like the map is so huge, and now the village, there's no loading screen. You just walk out of the village, and now you're in the quest. I was genuinely so impressed at like mainly the technical side of like what they were achieving.
I mean, you just party up, right? And you have, I mean, with the secrets, you are pretty fast. And the fast travel works really well. You just open the map. By the way, let's talk about UI for a little bit. I absolutely love this map. I adore it. It's so good. I have never seen a game, I think, that implemented the map in such a cool and stylish, unique way.
Yeah, because it's not even like I expected it to be like the same as Whirl, where you open the book, but I love that's like you see the animation of him opening the book, and then the map gets overlaid over the entire screen, and then if you're on the dog will just keep going while you're looking at the map. Yeah,
Bro, we're not in Rise
what
anymore.
To call it. No, I know, but I'm so used to calling him the dog, horse, bird, whatever animal that is. I've just been calling it.
Is it pronounced secret? I think it is, right? Secret, like
yeah. I think so, or sacred.
Sacred?
I'm not sure. I'm absolutely not sure. But I love them. They remind me so much of, I don't know if you played, did you ever play the Jak and Daxter games?
I think
on the PS2.
I think I did actually. I think I did, but
because
on PS3, on PS3 I played some.
This is such a reach. If anybody listening has played the Jak games, it reminds me so much of the Flut from Jak and Daxter 1, from the way it animates to the way it looks, and I love it. I was also so impressed because the whole time Jono was like, you know, giving me tips and whatever, and then he was like, oh yeah, tap left on the D-pad while you're on the sacred to access the supply box.
That's cool.
And I'm just like, oh right, because there's no camps anymore, so now you just have the supply box on the bird at all times.
Well, there are camps, right? You've seen them.
There are camps, but like you have to make them, right?
Yeah, so that's right. So they might have just been there because it's the Gamescom version. They might
because I didn't see any camps. I saw like
they
John
were
was
like,
telling me like.
I think there was the village with the stone houses in the middle of the map, and then there was on the right hand side there was the outpost, and then there were 2 or so other tents, small base camps where you could fast travel to.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even try that. I figured because Jono was telling me that like, oh yeah, those are places where you can set up a camp. So I assumed that they hadn't been set up. Are supply boxes at those?
You can go in there. You can change the weapons. You have access to everything.
Okay.
Yeah, but they can be destroyed again by monsters too. I've seen that, and then you have to set up a new one, I suppose.
Yeah.
God, but that UI is kind of like a mixed bag. I feel like there's a lot of new cool stuff that they've done that I love, but also I've seen a lot of comments in YouTube under my stream as well, where people say they're not really sold on this new, especially this wavy stamina and HP bars. People don't really seem to like those that much.
What do you think then? You say you like it then. You like, is there like anything about the UI that you're not a fan of, or?
I mean, I think visually it looks kind of cool. It looks a bit different. I feel like maybe it's good to prevent cheaters. Maybe it's easier to cheat with like a static UI, but like this kind of UI, you literally can't do anything.
Oh yeah, like overlaying the wrong like health bar or something. No, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So that's that's the first thing I'm thinking about. But other than that, I feel like it's just visually, it's like maybe it's a bit too hectic. Maybe the animation is a bit too strong, I would say. I think I like it, but I would tone down the amount of how much it moves. Because if you look at it, if you get hit, right, especially if the lower your HP bar gets, the thing goes crazy. And it looks like if somebody's in a hospital and like it's like their heart rate meter going up and down like crazy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I called it, that they changed it into like a heartbeat monitor.
Y-
But no, I
yeah.
agree. Maybe it gets a little bit too erratic, but one thing that I noticed while I was going over my footage again, and I noticed that it's not just that the health bar starts like, wiggling a ton when you're low health. It'll also wiggle loads when the monster is about to do a really, really big attack and you're low health. And I thought that was neat. Like, it's really good at communicating danger
Yeah,
to you
I
in
mean, it
case you're
may
like
be.
not good at picking it up.
It may be, but like then when I'm asking you, can you really pay attention to everything? Because right now the game has since World already, like the game has continued to give us more and more information, more quality of life. But at some point, if you have like so many things, you can see the timer now on the side. You see the sharpness bar now. It doesn't display just one color anymore, but it displays the entire range of the sharpness of the weapon.
That's what I thought it was. I was like, why do I have so much green? But no, okay, that makes
you
more
don't.
sense.
And then it goes away. I was like, oh, I have so much left, right? I saw it was only like 10% was away. I was like, oh man, I'm good. And then a few hits later, I'm on yellow. Like I felt like to me it was a bit confusing. I don't need to know how much sharpness my weapon, the entire sharpness bar of my weapon has. I just need to know how much of my color is left, right? I don't know, but maybe I'll get used to it. I appreciate them though trying out new things. So I mean, the 3D map I think is fantastic, and well, it's just so much information though. So if a monster attacks you and the HP bar wiggles, do you really like? You have to look at the monster. You have to check with Charge Blade. I have to check my files. I have to check my sharpness if it's good enough. I have to check my HP. Like, I mean, I don't know. I have to check so many things. Can you even pay attention to all of these things?
No, not really. But like, to me, like the way that it wiggles so much, even to someone that like cause it definitely saved me in that situation, because this is my first time. Yeah, this is my first time fighting the Dashiguma, obviously, and then I got that really like red, wiggly like health bar, and I was like, that feels like a warning.
And you evaded the way?
I was like, I'm not even gonna bother blocking this. I'm gonna get out of the way, and it actually helped.
Oh, so but wait, you couldn't have seen the wind up animation from the monster. So the monster, going into like pose, so it looks like a massive attack coming in.
No. I could tell that he was gonna attack, but the wiggle, because it was so like dramatic, I went, this is something that if I block it, I'm probably gonna die from chip damage. So never mind, I'm just gonna roll out of the way, because even that wiggle like probably like activated a neuron in my brain that was like, this might even be unblockable. Never mind, I'm getting out of the way.
Okay. Wow, nice. That it worked for you though. Then that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The one thing I will say, and it ties into that point that you're making, that we're almost getting too much information, is that like I'm personally not a fan at all that we can see now how long debuffs last. I don't like that.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know how you feel about it.
I mean, to be honest, the debuffs were something I never really paid that much attention to either, because sometimes you had like so many above your HP bar that important things are, for example, if you're blighted. So then you see your stamina bar is blue. For me, that's like a big indicator. Oh, I have to take a null berry or whatever, right? But I mean, these little tiny icons, they never really mattered that much to me in the first place. So I feel like it's probably fine. It's just like a tiny little number next to them. But also, I didn't really pay much attention to that during my playtime.
Yeah, I think I accidentally I ended up putting on the I'm sure that these like armor, because like this was the same thing in all the betas for World and the demo for Rise. I'm sure all the armor skills are like completely temporary, because I wore the full Balahara set for my gameplay, and I think I accidentally gave myself full stun resistance, so I didn't get to actually record like any of the like debuffs that you can get.
Yeah, let me quickly check that, because I already started working on this, because I recorded all of the armors and Michi recorded the skills as well. So we're gonna show that in a video somewhere, probably after this video goes up. Let me quickly check this, because I screenshot all the skills. So you took the Balahara, right? The Balahara armor looks so cool, first of all.
Yeah, that's exactly why I took it. I was like, oh, that looks unbelievable. I'm immediately putting that on.
Yeah.
And then I went to check the Palico armor, and I saw that there was one where he had like Splinter Cell goggles. And that was also the Balahara set. So I was full kitted out, full 100% Balahara gear.
Okay.
And I looked sick.
Right. Yeah, so the Balahara had stun resistance level 1.
Just level 1 for the entire set?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay, never mind. I never got stunned then, and I was getting hit like a lot.
Yeah, it comes with Bombardier level 3, Speed Sharpening level 1, and Stamina Surge level 1, and Master Mounter.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that was the set bonus, I'm pretty sure. The set bonus was Master Mounter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that, the one thing that I don't like is that it's not that they're giving me too much information visually, where it's like, oh, the screen is messy. Because I personally thought, like, especially the size of the UI and the placement of the UI was very
was good.
It was very graceful. Yeah, I was gonna use the word graceful.
Okay. Yeah.
Because in these games I always like end up hiding like half the UI elements because I don't need them.
Yeah.
I hide the item bar because I just use the radial menu. I hide like the time because I don't need to see what time it is. I hide the name of my hunter because I don't need that either.
Oh, you
like,
hide
I just
that
hide
too.
a bunch. Yeah. And for this one I was like, this is actually super nice. I think
Speaking of which, name of the hunter, there is no name of your hunter anymore. It's gone.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, you have in multiplayer, you have the names of your partners. 3 players are there, but above your HP bar, there's nothing. They removed it.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
I believe there will probably not be an option to even turn it on, because in this version, I feel like most likely they had all of the UI elements turned on.
Yeah, no, very likely, because I don't think they even let me go into the settings. I don't know if you managed, but like I always play with damage numbers off because I started with Freedom 2, and back then it didn't have it, and I just liked like knowing from the reaction of the monster, from the way like that the hit felt, like, oh, I know for a fact that hit for a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Also, semi-related, did you see that they announced that blood is a toggle? I love that.
Blood is a toggle?
Yeah, you can toggle on blood in this game.
Oh, great. Was it on for us?
No, not at all. Definitely not. But I seen clips with blood on, and when you go into Savage Axe on the Charge Blade, it looks really cool.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm not gonna lie, it looks really, really cool.
I would have loved to know that earlier. I would have turned it on then. That's cool. Okay.
If I can find a clip of it, I'll send it to you like after we're done recording here. But yeah, no, that's a thing. That's back. I'm super glad, because it always felt really weird in World when you'd hit something and then they just like a bunch of rocks came out of the monster. I always thought that was a little strange.
Yeah.
But no, I'm very glad that it's back. And
the rocks wasn't great, man. The rocks was weird in World. No, but that's fantastic. There's like so much customization and quality of life as well. I mean, with what we talked about already, the auto mode. I saw some people in the comments being very, they weren't really too sold on the idea of the automate, like that your sacred is automatically going somewhere if you set a waypoint on the map. But like, if you play the game yourself, it's actually, to me, it feels great.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Because you might want to check, you might want to like sharpen, you might want to check your items, heal up. You might want to write something in the chat or on Discord or say something to your friends. You might want to open the map and check something. And while you're doing all that, the thing goes there. It doesn't go there at full speed. It's like this normal kind of like slow sprinting speed. But if you press the sprint button, then you can go faster with the sacred, but in this case, it like turns off the auto mode, so you have to maneuver yourself. So it's not like a full automation. And yeah, to me it felt amazing.
The implementation, I also think is fantastic, because the way it works as it is now is it'll be faster if you control the sacred yourself. But if you don't want to, you'll be slightly slower. But like you said, you get the quality of life of like, oh, now I can just like do whatever I want. I can kick back even. I can go on my phone, and like you can do whatever. But I think the negative reaction that people had of learning about the auto mode, which I'm not gonna lie, I also had a negative reaction. Yeah, is I think we're all collectively scarred, and I think you know what I'm gonna say, from the tail riders from Monster Hunter Iceborne, which were just awful. I hated them. They were terrible. You get on the dog, he sniffs a bit, he walks forward a bit, and then he goes, stops again, goes, I know where the monster is, and then he goes. And I tested it. It was genuinely faster to just walk there.
Yes.
It was so bad. And that's what I thought it was going to be like. Oh, you have to switch between manual or automatic, and it's going to be clunky. He's going to have to stop and go. I have to sniff the scout flies first. But no, it's completely seamless.
Yeah.
Like I would get on the Sacred, jump off the village like a little perch, get on the map, and I'd be like driving it around, testing it. I'd be like, oh, cool. And then I'd be like, okay, I need to find my large dunk pod. While I was finding it, I didn't even realize it, but I just let go of the left stick, and he just kept going. There was no like clunky transitional phase. He just kept following the scout flies and like turning left or right as needed while I was focusing on doing the thing that I needed to do before the fight started. And honestly, the fact that it did slow down a bit when it went into auto mode like helped, because if he had kept going at that same speed, I wouldn't have been like battle ready, you know? It's fantastic. It's
also
completely seamless.
When I was running low on potions after doing a couple quests in a row, I know like I had the idea of refilling my items, but if you don't want to go back to the base camp, you don't want to fast travel all the way back. What you can do, access the pouch on your ride, and you can while you're riding, you can press left on the D-pad as you said before, and you have access to the whole pouch on your ride, and you can fill up your potions, fill up all the items you need. But the thing is, imagine doing this mid-hunt. Like you have to do this mid-hunt in order you don't want to lose time, right? So imagine you were just standing still. You would get slapped around. You couldn't. It would not be possible. So what happened for me? I opened the pouch on my ride and I refilled my items, and my Sacred was like, it was circling the monster in like a normal speed, and I didn't get hit at all during that. Yeah. It was amazing.
It happened to me as well. Like I said, it just feels so cinematic, and the implementation is so seamless. With the Sacred, generally, I feel like, in my opinion, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. They absolutely nailed the mount in this game. It feels fantastic. And also, funny you mentioned the supply box. There's a detail that they told me about. I don't know if they told you or if you caught it on video, but as the quest goes on, the longer you're out in the map, the supply box it's called a supply pouch now, that the Sacred has, will be refilled over time. And the way that works is Alma, the handler, will refill it with items. And what Jono told me is that in the background, Alma will just show up on her Sacred, go to your Sacred's pouch, and then refill it with stuff and then leave.
While
and this
you're
will just
off
happen.
the mount,
yes. Yeah, while you're off the mount and fighting the monster, she'll try to find an opening where it's safe for her to come and refill your stuff.
Right.
And I was like, wait, really? And then while I was going over my footage, you can see her in the background of me fighting a Dashiguma, circling the fight and waiting for an opening. And the moment I used a large dunk pod to clear the herd, while everybody was stunned and recoiling, then she came in and went to my Sacred and refilled my stuff and then left.
Okay.
It's so cool. You think something like that, oh yeah, the pouch just refills magically because it's a video game. You'd think they wouldn't go the extra mile of also contextualizing it within the game's world. And I just think that's so cool.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, they implemented so many new ideas in Rise, and then they improved now. The mount, the NPCs, they can now join a hunt with you.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And I love the way it's implemented as well, where you don't necessarily call the NPC hunters. You shoot out an SOS, and if nobody shows up, then you just get NPC hunters. But the game will always prioritize actual real players.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Well, I'm mostly a solo player. I like if it's clean. I don't like... I mean, I like multiplayer speedruns, but we usually try to make it look clean. But, yeah, I really love playing solo. That's
It's the same for me, man. Whenever a new Monster Hunter game comes out, I make 2 characters, one to play with my friends and one to play with myself, because I want to learn the moveset and whatever, because it is, and I know that you're probably gonna have the same feeling because speedrunner and speedrunning history.
I wouldn't say the moves. Well, you mean the moveset of the monster or the weapon?
Both, really.
Okay.
Honestly, both.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's it drives me crazy when I'm about to do a really crazy hit and I know exactly where the monster is going to go, and then I'm in multiplayer or just by Palico even, and then the monster just completely does a 180 and just I'm actually going to target this guy, and I'm just I hate multiplayer. Exactly. I hate it.
Exactly.
But so for me, I much prefer playing solo overall.
Yeah. No, yeah. So the last new feature I want to talk about quickly is the hunter voice, Palico voice. I think it's great, man. Like we have seen a little bit of the story. We weren't allowed to record it.
Yep.
But it just makes, like, before it was like such a like a hollow kind of personality that you were maneuvering. Now you have something. It gives more personality. It makes your hunter seem more intelligent. Before, it just seemed like your hunter wasn't like smart enough to speak. I really like it for the story. It's great.
Yeah. No, exactly. I completely agree with what you said. It just seemed like your hunter was the errand boy. But now, like, because your hunter has a personality and a voice, it gives him like a lot more agency. And it gives him like, yeah, no, like straight up, like,
That's
hunter,
true.
go do this, and then you just nod and then leave.
Yeah.
But now, dude, again, I can't talk about what we saw, but man, some of the stuff my hunter was doing, I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. You sold me on the voice immediately.
Yeah, and it wasn't at all annoying during the gameplay or anything like that.
Nope, not at all. Like, in fact, like, it is also nice that they announced that, I'm not sure if it is all of them, but it is nice that they announced that cutscenes are skippable now. Mm-hmm. But the effort that they're putting into the game's presentation and the fact, like, I was genuinely like, we only got to play, I think the quest we weren't allowed to record was like an hour or so. At least it was pretty long for me. I don't know how it was for you.
It was for me half an hour with the story, and then later on half an hour of recording. But I did that, I think, like a second time or something. So I did
right.
that, but yeah.
It lasted like a while. And then there was one more thing. So I wanted to ask as well. So did you notice like what happened when that initial story bit was done?
I'm not sure.
So the game does this like this personality test to make sure to like ask you and figure out like what sort of weapon you want.
Of course.
And I loved that, dude. I absolutely love that, because the thing I always say to people trying out these games is that the moment you start it, don't just immediately jump into a quest, because there's 14 different weapons.
Yeah, it's so overwhelming, man.
And none of them play the same. Mm-hmm. Genuinely, like, they're all completely different. So just because you don't like one doesn't mean you're gonna like not like all of them. Mm-hmm. And the game does exactly what I was saying that you should do, but now it's just in the game.
It's great.
The game starts the moment you get control. The first thing you do is you pick a weapon, and then you can do the optional personality test for the game to figure out like what weapon best suits you. Mm-hmm. And then the moment you pick your weapon, the handler goes, "Go hit that barrel and tell me if you're happy." And it's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
It's so good. Instead of like starting, because for example, I feel like Rise did like a huge mistake with just giving you a longsword right off the rip, because so many of my friends that started with Rise, they would say like, yeah, the game's great. It's really annoying that they force you to use the longsword for the first couple quests. And I'm just like, they don't. You just don't know that you can change it.
Yeah, it's so,
you know?
Yeah, that's so much better now. Mm-hmm.
Much better.
Oh, longsword. I'm getting into this weapon, right? So let me explain. Two days before Gamescom, I did not know which buttons to press to do a Hellbreaker. I did not know which buttons to do a foresight slash.
Was it not the same?
Well, Handbreaker is R2 and triangle. Foresight slash is R2 and circle, and then special sheath is R2 and X. And I did not know any of these three. And I had the stupid idea that it could be a good idea to use longsword as my secondary weapon on the live stream.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was not a good idea. The gameplay was awful. Thankfully, my CP gameplay was pretty good later on, especially. It was pretty decent. But yeah, so I just want to get that out there to anyone who thinks like I'm a noob with longsword. I am a noob with longsword.
Yeah, I just want to confirm that's true.
Yeah, exactly. So now you guys know why. But let's see, maybe I'll get better. I want to get into that. Like, I just don't want to, I main Charge Blade Sin's World, kind of. Mm-hmm. I want to kind of switch it up a bit. Right.
Yeah, that's the thing I was telling Jono. Every time a new game of these comes out, I'm always like, yeah, this time I'm gonna switch mains. I'm not just gonna do true and tested greatsword. I'm gonna mix it up. But the thing is, and it drives me crazy, every time one of these games comes out, they take all the weapons and just make them better. They make them cooler. They fix a bunch of stuff, and I'm just like, I kind of want to see what greatsword is like now. I kind of want to see what the new improvements are, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I gotta keep playing. I gotta keep playing Greatsword now.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing Greatsword speedruns. Same for Chargeblade. Chargeblade is like actually so many new cool things. It's amazing. I'm gonna make a dedicated video about it, so I don't think we have to talk too much about this here. But yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I really want to talk about Gamescom with you too a little bit, about the whole event, how it was for you. I think it was really great. You know what I love most? Like we saw Ryozo, Kaname Fujioka, and Tokuda, and that was amazing. I always wanted to see them since I started making YouTube videos, and it was the first time that I saw them in person. And you know what's the coolest thing about seeing them? So obviously they didn't know who I was, right? But then because I really wanted to know, and I showed them the size comparison because that's currently the video that we're kind of like really, Michi and I are really proud about, at least, of making this. And we showed it I showed it to him, to Ryoza. I wanted to know if he knew it, and he actually did. Like he had no clue who I was, and I showed him the video. He was like, and then he was like, you know, and they showed them around, and even Tokuda said he's seen some of our videos and he really likes, you know, the combination of speed runs and like more informative or like special videos that we do. That's so cool, man. That was really nice.
That is super cool. Like it is. The thing is, we, like me and you, I guess, we're supposed to have met them in if you remember the 2020 like the Monster Hunter speedrunning event in Boston.
Absolutely, the Monster Hunter Festa 2020.
Yeah, that in America, and they ended up not being able to go, which was so sad. So like now finally getting to meet them was just so cool.
You met them too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like because they were also in the Capcom booth. They were like just chilling in the cafe.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah. And I also ended up meeting because I never met them before. I met Paradise and 269.
Oh, I missed them, bro. I missed them.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. We were all looking for you like after your stream, and I was talking to them, and that was my first time meeting them. So I go up to them, I was like, hey, like just by chance, are you guys like the Arix team? They were like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? I'm Punk Dog. And they didn't know who I am by name. And then I just went, oh, you might know this, then I'm the guy that made How to Monster Hunter. And then they both went, you're that guy. And I'm like, yeah, what's going on? Then we like just chatted. They were super, super nice guys. We obviously like talked about, you know, like what we think of Wilds, etc. And then we were both just like, I'm just here looking for Chris. And I was like, me too. Like, I don't know where he went. Like the moment the stream ended, he just like dropped a smoke bomb and vanished. And I have no idea where he is.
Fuck us,
on my end. Yeah, like the moment your stream ended, because like the whole time I knew you were there, but I had so much like stuff to do, man. Like
that's so weird.
I was only there. Oh no, sorry.
I mean, I'm sorry, but after the stream, I was literally chilling next to the stage for like 15 minutes. There were a few guys there that wanted to say hi, and then I waited for a little bit longer. Was looking left and right. Nobody else really seemed to want to say hi anymore, and I was like, okay, I guess that was it. So let's go, I guess. So man, you wanting to surprise me was like it backfired big time.
Yeah, because what I think happened was, because I was in queue after our recording session, Jono hooked me and a friend up with fast passes for the booth, and I was waiting. My friend was waiting as well, and I kept looking behind me to make sure, like, is Chris done yet? Like, because like I don't care about playing the game again. I've already got my recording. I'm happy. So like if I have to like give up my fast pass, I'm down. And then you were done streaming, and I was telling my friend like, okay, he just got done streaming. I gotta go. If the lady at the queue asked like where I went, just sound like he vanished. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I gotta go look for Chris. And then I went, and then at that point I saw that you guys like went like behind where the mics were. There was like some black doors. You guys went like inside that big like stage, and then I went behind that stage to where like the bathrooms were, and you weren't there. So I think what happened was, while I was looking for you behind that building, you were probably outside the stage like looking around seeing if anybody was looking for you.
It was so,
I think it was just like horrific timing, because on my end I knew you were going to be at Gamescom. I had already like seen you guys like stream and stuff, and I was thinking like, dude, I haven't seen this guy in like 4 years. I'm not going to tell him I'm coming. I'm just going to surprise him because I want to see his face. Like I want to see if he even recognizes me. Because like I was a little baby 4 years ago, and then it was just, I was talking to 269, I was talking to Paradise, and I was like, can I ask you guys a huge favor? Can you guys message Chris and tell him to come to like the public stage? because you guys want to see him. Don't mention me at all. And that's why, I'm pretty sure you saw it by now, but that's why they messaged you, because that was me being like, get him to come here because my bus is in 30 minutes.
Oh my god, that's crazy. No, I was like, oh, they're so nice. The 26 is messaging me. They wanted to meet me. I was so happy about it, because there was a bunch of creators that I missed, and like not many. Like I cannot recall messaging with many of the other creators, but they reached out and said, "Hey, Chris, let's meet up." So I was like so happy. But you were the one who
orchestrating it. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well, anyways, we'll get a chance soon. Sadly. Guys, like Punk Duck, I don't know if you guys remember in 2020, there was this Monster Hunter World USA Championship. And I had the huge honor to be invited to commentate alongside Herney. Yep. And it was a great event. It was really fun. And yeah, this is where Punk Duck and I met for the first time. That was fun times, man. Yeah. Just before COVID, right? Very that was fun. Literally February 2020. And like 2 weeks later, they canceled all the flights.
Yep, that was why Ryozo, and I think, who directed Iceborne? Because it was going to be Ryozo and the director of Iceborne coming as well. But yeah, they were supposed to both be, oh, sorry?
The director is the Tokuda.
Yeah, they were supposed to both come to watch the Festa, because that was going to be the first one in the US ever. And then they couldn't come because of COVID, and it just sucks. Like, they canceled last minute, and then like I feel like, I mean, I'm speculating here, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like that also kind of threw like away all plans of doing more of these in the future, because that was supposed to be the first US one, and then they were gonna do more in the future. But I feel like there hasn't been one in the US since then, right?
No, it was the only one. But yeah, that was because when Sunbreak came out, it was still kind of in the end phase of COVID. And I feel like now, I do think there will be a new one with Wilds, though.
I hope so, because that was so fun, man. Like the stage, getting the pictures, like the entire presentation of the event. And then also, I would like to also mention this. Shout out to the open bar. That was pretty cool. Not gonna complain.
In the B2B area, you mean?
Yeah. Where like I just went up because I was like, "Yo, Chris, let me get you a drink, whatever." And then I was getting my card, and then they went, "No, that won't be necessary." I went, "Huh?" I went, "Oh, it's an open bar, sir." And I just turned around to you and I went, "We're good. Let's get out of here."
Let me explain for the viewers, because I think most don't know. There was like this main stage, right, where everyone was queuing to play the game, and where the big show was, the entertainment area. And then there was a separate area in a totally different hall at Gamescom, like really far away, where there was like kind of like a business area where you could only get in with a certain creator or media press pass for Gamescom. And within that area, this is more like to, make business connections with other companies and brands. There, Capcom had another private area where you could only get in if you had an appointment with them, or if you're a creator that they know, stuff like that. And they had amazing catering. It was so delicious. The croissants they had for the breakfast on one day, oh my god, they were so much better than the ones in the hotel that we had before we came there. And they were so nice. Like they
were great.
They asked you what you wanted, and it felt really nice.
That was the one sad part about Gamescom. Well, it wasn't really sad, but it was just like a little bit inconvenient for me, because like Capcom like also sent me like the invite to like, hey, come record to the thing for an hour and a half. But I had already planned to go there with two of my friends, and they weren't like in touch with Capcom at all. So I was really worried, like, oh god, am I gonna have to like ditch them for an hour and a half and they just kind of do nothing. But we managed to get into the trade area with both of them, and then when we got to the Capcom area, I was asking like, hey, I know that they obviously can't play, but is it cool if they like, if they stay inside and just like watch and whatever? And then Jono was like asking PR people, and they were like, no, I'm sorry, that's not going to be possible. And I was like, guys, I'm so sorry, you're going to have to wait like an hour and a half for me to be done with this. And like, hey, it's not a problem at all. And I figured they were just being nice, but then afterwards they were telling me, dude, don't even worry about it. We just chilled in the cafe for an hour and a half, and it was amazing. I no really? Complaints whatsoever. Yeah, no, they loved like that. Like they can absolutely vouch for the catering and service that they had. Like they said it was unbelievable.
Yeah, no, everyone was really nice at the Capcom stuff, and yeah, it's just like I'm not like a person that really loves these big crowds of people. I'm really not that type of person. So for me, day 2 was really getting like it was a lot for me. So I was like really happy that it was great, but I was also happy that it was done after day 2 and I could go and like into more and more peaceful, more calm environment.
Yeah, it was packed, man. Like the fact that the Monster Hunter queue alone, you'd have to wait 10 hours to get to play it for 30 minutes. To me, that's unbelievable. Like
Crazy.
from a POV of like, 10 hours, that's your entire day.
Yeah.
Like being so dedicated that you want to sit for 10 hours to like play this game for 30 minutes is crazy. But then also from a POV of like, I've been playing these games since Freedom 2. Hearing that like, oh yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds was the most popular game at Gamescom and they had to cut off the queue because it was clogging the hall. To me, that's nuts.
Yeah, but also Capcom, they must have spent so much money on marketing and advertisement. Like they were everywhere. Like you see the big posters in the big hallways of Gamescom. Monster Hunter Wilds, come to our booth. There were people running around with like they had the advertisement of Monster Hunter Wild on their back. They were carrying.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I don't even know what that was. It looked like a charging station for electrical cars, but it had Monster Hunter on them. I mean, I don't know what that was. They were running around with that. The stage was massive. It was like in the middle of that really big entertainment hall, right? And you could see right in the middle of this entire hall. It was huge. Man, I think there was someone bigger. I think Microsoft was bigger, because they own so many studios and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, they had like Diablo and Doom. And
they have Blizzard.
World
they
of
own
Warcraft,
that too,
yeah.
right? So
yeah.
A lot. But
They had
Capcom
a
must have been
big
second biggest or something like that. It was crazy.
That is one of my regrets. I totally forgot to ask Jono. I don't know how big in a Street Fighter 6 you are, but I really wanted to try Terry because that's like the newest character in the game. And I was seeing it next to the Monster Hunter setups at like the recording booth. And I was like, oh, can I also do that? That'd be sick. But I completely forgot. Like that was like two of the things that I totally forgot to ask. Like one, it was that. And then the other one was like, dude, you got to tell me how multiplayer is going to work because I'm just looking at this. Because like not even from like, well, obviously you invite your friends and then you just play. But from a technical aspect of like, is one big thing I'm asking myself is like, because you know how like if you're sitting in a lobby in the village with your friends, you can go on an expedition to the ancient forest and your friend can go on an expedition to the ancient forest too. You're not going to necessarily be in the same map, like it's going to be instanced to both of you, like separately. But if the village is seamless, then like, could there be a scenario where I'm hitting a monster and doing a quest in the Windward Plains, and then my friend is also doing a different monster in the Windward Plains? Can we like interact and see each other? Can we affect each other's hunts? Like that's the main thing that I'm like thinking about, and I have no idea.
Oh, of course, right? Maybe it's like some like what are the Guiding Lands? Maybe in a way like that, where you just party up and then the only difference is that in the Guiding Lands you accept the quest in the next to the tent, right, in the base camp there, and here the quests automatically start when you start hunting a monster for a little bit. The game notices okay you want to stick to that, and they start the quest for you. I mean, it's a good question though. If you can have, for example, maybe what you want to ask, or what I understood is if you can if your friend and you can do two quests, different quests at the same time, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then my other question is, because when you're in the Guiding Lands with your friends, the difficulty scaling automatically goes up because it assumes you're all going to be fighting the same stuff. But if now in Wilds, I'm fighting, let's say, a Dashiguma. My friend goes to start a fight with a Chotacabra. If it's like instanced with everybody that's in the lobby, does that mean we're both fighting monsters that are scaled for 4 people? I don't know. I have no idea.
Maybe
That's
they
why
make
I'm
it so
much like the technical side.
Maybe they make it so. I mean, I'm sure they have a solution somehow on the technical side, but probably if you're like close in the radius of the monster, maybe then it scales up or something.
I have no idea.
If you're far away hunting something else, it just scales down.
Yeah, that was like all the stuff I needed to ask, but I totally forgot. But like, they definitely have something figured out. I'm just like incredibly curious. I'm also like extremely curious for the release date. Please, I'd love a release date.
Yeah.
For no reason. Oh man.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we can maybe exploit some of the things in the game at the end, because there's a lot of new stuff. For example, imagine like you go in with the light bowgun and you sleep the thing, then you drop out, you go away, and then the greatsword player charges on the thing with, and then and then it scales down to single player HP, right? So you deal more damage.
Oh my god.
I guess.
That'd be so. I'm so excited to see like the weird exploits people can think of.
Yeah.
Because I always love seeing that stuff. Like funny we mentioned the Boston event, but because I remember one team of two had like this crazy setup. I think everybody was fighting a Namiel, and everybody and both of them had like this crazy setup where like they can just keep hitting them into the wall over and over and over. There was no limit for some reason. They could just keep doing wall bangs infinitely. Yeah. And I was like, how are you doing that? How does that work?
Yeah, there was an exploit with Namiel. We also made a video on this.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was Namiel only.
I think it was Namiel specifically, yeah.
Oh, wow.
In the Coral Highlands, there was also an exploit that you could do. And then there were different exploits. One exploit, it was just running against the wall all the time, and you could just keep slashing and hacking. And the other one... God, I don't remember anymore. It was a long time ago, but there were...
Yeah.
Namiel was kind of buggy.
I kind of hope she comes back. I'm not going to lie. I really like Namiel.
Man, I hope for the Leviathans, because when we see the Balahara, so that shows that Leviathans are now possible in the game.
Yep.
So that means Legiacrus could return, Agnactor could return. I'm dying to see the other maps more. I mean, we've seen a glimpse of the forest in the new trailer. Mm-hmm. But I really want to see gameplay and everything, like how this looks like. Because, I mean, the desert is nice and all, but we've seen so much of the desert at this point. Like, bro, I want to see other maps. Seriously.
Yeah. No, I feel you. What I was saying, though, and this is my, like, opinion on the marketing strategy, because I'm the opposite of you right now. I love that we've only seen the desert, because I want to have as many surprises as possible when the game comes out. So what I was telling a friend of mine was, I want way less monster reveals. I love that so far we only know like what, 5? I think it's only been 5, right? Because it's the 3 from the deserts, the apex, and the spider. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I want them to just keep it super slow, and I want the game to actually like surprise me, because I don't want to have to do the thing where I just avoid the trailers, because at the end of the day it's not going to work. I'm eventually, even if I avoid the trailer, I'm eventually going to see the information through social media or through messages, or
do you know the ratio of how many, because I know, do you know the ratio of how many monsters in the past were revealed and how many were in the game?
I think for Sunbreak, for example, it was literally all of them. They revealed like literally all of them before the game came out. That's the last one I remember.
They usually they reveal all of them except the final boss, and usually one surprise monster. The surprise monster was Basilgeuse in World, for example.
I remember, yeah.
I don't remember for Sunbreak what it was anymore. I think there was one though. Oh yeah, right. Wasn't it? No. Even the frontier monster got what's it called?
Espinas.
Espinas was revealed. Even that one, right? So.
I don't remember either. Also for World, I mean, I guess this doesn't count because it's not a new monster, but Pink Rathian and Azure Rathalos were also surprises, if I remember correctly.
Oh, could have been, yeah. But I mean, these are just subspecies.
Yeah, those were like subspecies, so it was whatever.
I've already seen some comments of people saying, oh, TDS, I beg of you, don't put spoilers in your videos. So maybe it's a good moment here to talk about that. Because usually what we do, we just stick to what Capcom does. If Capcom decides to drop a trailer on Tigrex, then we don't have a problem afterwards to put Tigrex in the thumbnail and write it in its name in the title of our video. We don't consider it a spoiler in the moment Capcom revealed a monster.
Yeah.
So everything final boss, everything that they don't reveal, we're not going to spoil for you. And with the final boss, we always write final boss on the video, and we disguise the thumbnail somehow. So that's what you can expect from our videos, at least. Everything revealed by Capcom could be in the thumbnail, could be in the title. Not everything will be, but could be. Yeah. I guess that's fair.
I definitely want them to focus more on, if you're gonna have like a ton of trailers, because like usually it's like one every couple months or something. If you're gonna have a ton of trailers, I want you to focus more on like, here's this new mechanic that we're also doing, this new stuff that we're introducing. I love trailers that focus on new mechanics, but like monster reveals, let's keep it on the DL, because that's the stuff that, because like the mechanic stuff will sell me on the game more. The monster reveals will make me, definitely, because the monster reveals will make me go, that's cool, but I wish I had been surprised while I was playing the game.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think monsters also sell the game big time.
Oh, no, definitely. No, this is just like
And-
from my perspective.
And Capcom has insane expectations to Wilds. They believe the game is gonna outsell World. So
I fully believe that too.
yeah, they're gonna try to advertise the game as much as they can. We'll see. I think it's a pretty good chance that it's gonna be similar to how they've done it in the past, and you'll just have to. I mean, it's hard. You're probably gonna get spoiled anyways.
Yeah. Like for me, I fully believe it's gonna outsell World. For like a lot of reasons. One, like with the announcement of like this like cool like stuff like crossplay, and the fact that it's like simultaneous release, so that like nobody is missing out.
Yeah.
Because there were cases where like I had friends that really wanted to play it, but they only had a PC, and then their other friends like got it on like consoles, because consoles came out like 6 months earlier, and then by the time it came out on PC, they were like, I'm kind of like, I don't really care anymore. So a lot of people missed out because of like that staggered release. And
that's
now with,
fair. I mean, that's fair, but also I feel like the PC release at a later date helped the game kind of stay more relevant for a longer period of time. Whereas
definitely.
Most games die down really fast, and then everyone's spamming like dead game, dead game. But like World had such a strong year. Like even in 2019 it was still ongoing, and then in 2020 after Iceborne release it was still going really well, because in 2020 I believe the PC version of Iceborne launched.
Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure January 2020.
Yeah,
and
they completely bumped up the numbers like crazy again, and everyone was playing, everyone was active, so it just makes the game stay alive for longer. So that's like, I guess a good thing. But you're definitely right. A lot of people miss out if PC releases too far in the past. I guess Horizon Zero Dawn, that stuff, I think that game released not too long ago on PC. Nobody really talked about it at all.
Yeah, not really, because like the staggered releases, there's a big factor, which is people that feel like, oh, they missed out on the big waves, and now it's like, oh, it's out on PC, and like,
Oh, no, not Zero Dawn, Forbidden West. I mean, the new one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that one just also had a very unfortunate release of coming out, like, I think it was the same day Dragon's Dogma 2 came out, and that one instead, like, took over the entire, like, conversation about, like, new releases.
Yeah.
But with Monster Hunter, I at least from my experience of friends, like, that I just know that don't play Monster Hunter, or they know of Monster Hunter and they just haven't played it, because now there's a big resurgence on people picking up Rise and World again, because they're seeing all these trailers and they're just like, damn, I want to get back into Monster Hunter. There's like the outer friends who aren't really into these games or haven't tried them, watching us play, and they're like, oh, I've never actually seen proper gameplay of these, this looks cool, I'm just gonna wait for Wilds. So there's a big like portion of players that never really hit the wave, didn't really like care that much, but now they're seeing all these people like get on the hype train, but they don't want to play. I don't want to play this game that's like World is like, what, 6 years old? Like they go, I don't want to play a game that's 6 years old, and I don't want to play a Switch port. So I'm just gonna wait for like the new one, because that one even has crossplay. So even if you get it on like any other platform, I'll be able to play with you regardless.
Yeah.
So like I genuinely think that Wild is gonna do crazy
yeah,
good numbers.
It will do really well, man. We got to play together.
Oh
sometime.
yeah. But once we got to play together, and at least then we'll know how the multiplayer works. I'm dying to know, man.
Yeah.
I'm so curious. Because I'm so excited for that game. I didn't get to play. Did you get to play the multiplayer setups that they had at Gamescom?
I did get to play multiplayer as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't, because I noticed the public booths for the multiplayer setups, they were only in German. So I was like, I don't speak any German. And funny, I mentioned that. So earlier when I mentioned that, like, my friend and I got fast passes, but I ended up leaving to try and find you.
Yeah.
My friend ended up staying, and then one of the Capcom like people went up to him and they were like, oh, do you speak German, or do you need English? And he was like, oh no, I can do the German setup. That's fine. I don't care. Like, if it's faster, I'll do the German setup.
Yeah.
and he hated it.
Oh, really?
He had such a horrible time because he didn't think that like the German would be that much of like a handicap for him.
Oh, wow.
But he was playing, and he was like telling me afterwards, like, I had no idea how to shoot the slinger. I had no idea how to like do all the new moves and nothing. All of it, like literally all of it was in German because he was thinking like maybe I can go in the settings and change it to English, but no. So he had to play the whole thing in German, and then and then just to top it all off, his setup crashed. So he just went, I think I'm done. I think he turned one to Capcom and went like, I think I'm leaving. But thank you.
Oh no, that's unfortunate.
He had such a terrible time.
Oh god. Well, yeah, that's the thing with Gamescom. Sometimes I wish they just did everything in English because I mean, honestly, everyone understands English at this point, especially in Germany. But yeah, it's just how it is.
But like at the end of the day, like it's not like it wasn't. Oh my god, I just hit my mic. At the end of the day, it wasn't that big of a deal. He still got like to play it. It was just like, and he did also say that he didn't mind that it was in German. So it was kind of his own fault. But yeah, no, it was just unfortunate because the proportion of German setups to English setups, it was like a ton, like just tons of German setups and like 4 English setups, and they were all single player. Yeah, it was very, very little. That's why he was waiting for a while, even though he had the fast pass.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, at least we all got to check it out for a bit. We are very, very fortunate. I really hope the demo comes out for all of you guys to play it very soon.
Or like a beta or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it definitely feels, I mean, hey, I'm not a dev, I didn't work on it, but it definitely feels like, I mean, they had public booths. It definitely feels like public ready at this point. They probably just need to iron out some like performance stuff or networking stuff to then like focus on that. And on the same note of you saying that you're thankful, I felt so incredibly lucky being there. And at one point, like once I'm wrapping up everything, done recording, like I'm talking to Jono, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, Punk Duck, thank you for doing this. This was so cool." And I was like, No, you don't thank me. I thank you. This was crazy, man. Like this, like the fact that like not only did I get to do that, but also that he was just sitting next to me throughout my entire session, giving me tips, telling me like,
Jono's great, man.
No,
He's
Jono's
amazing.
fantastic. And he was constantly like being like, "Oh, wait, don't go there yet. Definitely do this so you can get footage of this." Like he was helping me like get better footage to make sure I was capturing like everything I'd need.
Man,
like,
now I'm jealous. I needed that too.
No, he was the best.
Okay.
Genuinely.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Yeah. No, I'm very. I think the beta, whatever it's gonna be called, is coming out this year, for sure. This year.
Very likely. Probably like around Christmas when people have like the holidays and stuff, like so they can like properly enjoy it.
I think earlier.
That's me speculating though. Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
If it's not coming in September, I think it's coming in October.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Yeah, I mean
the game's gonna be
dive in again.
The game's gonna be playable in the US next in a month or so from now, I think, in PAX.
PAX West. Yeah.
So I think once that wraps up, maybe a week or two afterwards is probably a good time for them to do that, because it was similar when we went in 2019. I went to Gamescom as well to check out Iceborne there. And there was like Valkana playable for the first time, if I remember correctly. And then I think a week after that event, they dropped this playable version that we played at Gamescom. They dropped it for everyone.
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, you're right. It was around September.
But because of the event, so either they're going to drop it very soon now, maybe early September even, and then they're going to have a different playable version at PAX West. But I don't think that's what's going to be, because PAX is so like a totally different market. It's so far away. So I think they might just have the same version playable there, probably.
I'm not sure. Plus, you also got to consider it's going to be, from what I can remember of like the next ones, it's going to be like, now it's Gamescom, that's over, and then it's PAX West, and then they're also going to have a booth, very likely same build, at TGS, Tokyo Game Show, coming up very soon. I'm not sure on the dates.
I'm not sure either. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm dying for a beta, man, because like I literally only got to play the Greatsword, and like from the weapon overview videos, I want to try the lance, I want to try the gun lance, I want to try sword and shield, and then oh my god, actually I want to get your opinion on this, because I don't play Insect Glaive at all. How do you feel about the aerial attack not bouncing you back up anymore?
I haven't watched any Insect Glaive gameplay since the trailer.
Really? Okay, yeah, because one thing, I think it was footage from a IGN preview, and the IGN reviewer was an Insect Glaive main. He was immediately like, I will say, I'm a bit scorned. I'm feeling scorned that the Insect Glaive aerial attack, like, when you're in the air, you hit circle. It doesn't bounce you up anymore. You just land on the ground, even if you hit the monster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have to see. I'm not really sure because I haven't really looked into IG much. But no, if you say so.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel because I never ever play Insect Glaive. I can never wrap my head around like having to manage the Kinsect and all the buffs. I just want to hit stuff.
Yeah, you just gotta get used to it. Yeah, it takes a while, like with almost every weapon. Yep. It's not more complicated than CB or LS or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything's more complicated than CB. That weapon's a nightmare for me.
To me, longsword in wilds is more complicated. You have so many options, combo options that you can do, and mobility, and like it's like twice as many options than before.
Oh wow, that's good because I always thought it was like almost too simple in the previous games.
I felt like in World was already really good. In the previous games, in the old games, like 3rd gen, to me it was also too simple. But I think in World it was in a pretty good spot. But now, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it takes time to get used to it.
Yeah, like it's just super. There's like a skill ceiling or like skill floor that's like higher than you expected.
Which is probably a good thing. So
no, definitely, yeah. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I want just every time these games come out, I want the skill ceiling to get higher and higher, and the skill floor to be lower and lower, so that people that want to get into the game can get into it super easily. Yeah. But people that want to master the game just get new layers and layers and layers of stuff to learn. I think that's perfect, and already like with this game, it already feels like they're getting to like that sweet spot. Yeah. Where like people can pick up the game and it instantly feels good. Yeah. And then me as a person who's like has thousands of hours in these games, I can pick up the game, like mess around with the new mechanics and instantly go, oh my God. Even with the Greatsword, which is like has a very simple game plan, very simple control scheme, I could already feel like, oh my God, I can instantly tell I have so many new options and I have no idea where to even start. Yes.
I mean, dude, it's Monster Hunter we're talking about at the end of the day. Like, even I felt overwhelmed. Well, with CB it was all right, but everything else, I felt overwhelmed. Like, how is somebody who never even played Monster Hunter going to feel, especially playing at like an event like Gamescom for 30 minutes only, and then they have to leave? You have no chance to even get any feel for the game at all.
No, definitely. Like that's why I was surprised because they had told me my recording session would be an hour and a half. So I'm thinking like, oh, okay, the recording section is an hour and a half, and I can only record the multiplayer demo, and the multiplayer demo is 30 minutes. So I'm going to get to record the multiplayer demo 3 times and try out pretty much all the weapons I'd want to try out. And then I try it once with Greatsword, and then John goes, all right, that's it. Okay. And then I go, all right, do I just run it back then? He goes, no, you leave. And I go, oh, I thought it was an hour and a half. And he went, no. The entire thing is an hour and a half. And I went, oh, that makes a lot more sense because there's a lot of people here. Yeah. And I was wondering, like, you're going to let me, like, play the game for an hour and a half? That seems like a lot, Yeah. But yeah, no, and then it made sense. Like, oh, yeah, the story quest took a while, too.
I only got to play so much because it's like different bits. I played on the stream for 45 minutes. I played on the stage for half an hour. I played the recording session. Then the recording was corrupted. It didn't work out. In one day I had amazing gameplay, and everyone's gonna believe me, right? It was amazing gameplay, but it wasn't recorded. It didn't work out.
The gameplay goes to a different school. You haven't heard of it. But it was super cool, man. You would have loved it. You would have loved my gameplay. Oh, it's too bad it's gone.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why at the end of the day I could play quite a lot, and that's really, really nice. Yeah. Cool.
I'm really glad my gameplay didn't corrupt, man, because I didn't check before I left the booth. But the whole time I was like, I set up everything correctly. Surely it's not corrupted. And then I had that like just very suspenseful moment when I was on the bus back, checking my laptop, like, please God, tell me it's not corrupted. Like on the off chance that it is, this is gonna be the worst day of my life. But I checked, it's all good. I've already gone over it multiple times, and I'm good on that front. Thank God.
That's good. If not, we could have shared some with you as well. But yeah, cool. Right, we'll play together soon, man. And guys, check out Punk Duck if you don't know him yet. I'm gonna link his most famous Monster Hunter video below, so check him out, please. And yeah, so tune in and stay subscribed because I'm working on the CB video next. That's gonna go up here as soon as possible. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for coming on the podcast, I guess.
Dude, thanks for having me. This was super fun. Right now when you were saying bye, I was like, first of all, I looked outside my window and it's pitch black. And I was like, wait, how long have we been? Oh my God, an hour and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
We've definitely gone over the hour mark.
It's fine.
But yeah,
No
man,
problem.
thanks for having me. Like, dude,
Awesome.
I could talk about this game forever. So
Yeah.
whenever you need me, I'm
Yeah,
down.
well, let's do it some more time in the future. No, of course. Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Bye.